It's your boy Tipsy Japan back with another episode of ATAS Across Time and Space, episode 13. I'm here with my co-host, who needs no introduction, but I'm going to hand it over to him properly this time.
You already know it's your boy Ace of Cross Culture. 13 episodes. 13 episodes. Wow.
Oh, yes.
It's getting to be
yeah.
something serious, huh?
It is. It is. You know, the show is evolving. What it once was just reading different books and then going into those topics and in detail. How do those topics, address issues in real life, in society, in our communities? As you know, my community is stretched across continents and across time zones. I started in Hartford, Connecticut with my co-host in the same place. And now I'm in Chiba, Japan. So I'm speaking from the future for a lot of our listeners. But I'm speaking in the current for our listeners over here in Kanto. Where are you stationed at, Ace?
Oh, man. I am in basically Little Mexico. I'm literally 30 minutes away from the U.S.-Mexico border in South California. If you think of Southern California as like Venice Beach and all that, I'm hours south of that. Yeah, hours south of San Diego. Yeah, you don't know Southern Cali until you're in the Imperial Valley.
All right, and you don't know heat either. What's the temperature like out there right now?
Right now, I think our high is something like 70, but it's also the middle of winter. So
70 degrees Fahrenheit. Jeez.
So in the summer, the height of the summer, it can get up to like 121 easily. Just to give you a little scope.
That's wild. Yeah. Over here in Japan, we're looking at 1 degrees Celsius, which no, seriously, which is like
35,
33, 4,
33,
4. Yeah, I mean just above freezing. It's daytime though. We're reporting live from just afternoon, 12:43 in the afternoon. So. In fact, we're a little bit later, starting a little bit later than usual. We're going to end a little bit later than usual. But, hopefully we have your full attention for the next 40 minutes. There are a number of issues that we want to address, but we're going to start with a recap. Okay, recap to decap. I think we talked about decap before, but it's one of those mind hacks and life hacks where you do something. Okay. You don't start with the planning, but you actually just start with action. Okay. Function before form. And you do it and then check. DC. Check. What did you do? Was it effective or not? And then you decide on actions. What actions are you going to take? Or what actions could you take to improve that thing? And then plan. Plan. So DCAP. In the planning phase, you're deciding on one of those several actions that you could have done. What will you do the next time? So yeah, I like to recap using decap. And last week, what did we do? What did we talk about? We were over on Cross Culture and we looked at several different issues. How did those issues play out in your week? And as you went back and look back at what we talked about in episode 12, give us a summary, the executive summary there.
The executive summary. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
So last week on ATAS, we spoke mainly about the past year and the new year, as it was our first episode of the new year. We did do a little bit of looking back at the good, the bad, and the ugly of last year, and then kind of going into that decap mode, um, because we've already started this year. We're already doing it. We can't stop doing this year. Um, so we can, of course, check over our stuff. We can take different actions and then plan to take those different actions. But for the main thing, it was really just what was this past year? What do you plan on doing differently? There was like a lightning round of questions. Um, but one of the things that we highlighted on was the intimacy of sharing a meal, and we spoke about that. I want to say at length. Out of all of the different subjects we talked about, that was kind of the random one that we put a lot of time into.
Yeah. It was an interesting conversation. There were actually people in our comments section that wanted to chime in about how Japanese view eating and the intimacy involved there, the expectations involved there. It was a fun conversation. Also, the New Year's resolutions. People in the comments section, if you'd like to write your resolution, that can help. To actually get it done. There's something we have called a SMART goal in my industry. The goal has to be specific. Starts with an S. Specific, measurable. A is either achievable or agreed upon. And I like agreed upon because you speak to someone about it. You make yourself accountable by adding an outside person into the mix. You don't just say, all right, well, I'm going to lose X number of kilograms by no. To yourself. You don't whisper it to yourself. You have to say it out loud in order to make it real. And you have to say it to somebody to, actually get them kind of on your case and help you stay on track. I mean, you want to say your goals to someone who's going to encourage you. Sometimes that encouraging can be pulling you forward. Sometimes that encouraging can be pushing you forward from behind. Sometimes that encouragement can just be like, hey, are you actually doing it? Are you doing what you said you're going to do? Or hey, you're not doing what you said. I thought you said you were going to do such and such. All those things. As long as you realign yourself and say, okay, this is for my benefit, and this is for their benefit, and this is for everyone's benefit that I do this thing. As long as your goals are in alignment with that, yeah. Bringing someone into it and having them agree with you on how specific, how measurable, how realistic how realistic that goal is, and helping you keep track of the time which is the last point, T, of the SMART goal. That helps it happen. That definitely helps it happen. So, I wanted to touch on that, and I gave that lightning round last week. I drilled Ace so bad. I said, all right, 30 seconds. Boom. Next question. You have 10 seconds to think. Boom. Answer. He had no idea what the questions were going to be. He asked for it to be that way. And I said, okay, all right, you got it. If you had that list of questions, I'm sure you could ask this week, but maybe we'll do that next time. We'll see. So, getting into where we'd like to go this week. There are two things, two kind of major pieces. One is talking a bit about loss, and the second will be talking about our next book, The Wise Man, Sapiens. Okay, Sapiens by Yuval Noah Harari. Okay. I don't know if just by a show of hands, although I can't see your hands at this moment. For our listeners, if you've read the book already, hey, leave a comment. Tell us how that book has affected you. Where were you in life at that time? When you read it, were you in complete agreement on what it says, or did you feel a little chafing as it rubbed against your original mindset? We want to know. Okay. as we go through the chapters, we're gonna, proceed maybe a few chapters at a time rather than harping on each specific one. But
mm.
as things come out in the chapters, and your preconceived notions about life and about humanity start to shift, we want to be there for the ride. Okay.
Or
But
either
first,
that, or maybe they get strengthened. Maybe you get a little
mhm,
more uh, rigid in what you believe, and there's more of a foundation there.
mhm,
I would also like to say that we do have. I was the reason why I was up so close to the camera
mhm,
is because I'm actually on my smartphone, so I can actually see the live stream while it's happening. I was listening and looking back and forth. Um, if you want to be a part of the conversation as it's happening, the
mhm,
live chat feature on YouTube is a great way to do that. And one thing that we will do is we'll try to throw your comments up on screen, and we'll make that a part. The only thing is that if you have what is to be perceived as a government name, we won't put it
mhm,
up unless you state that that is okay, because we want to keep all anonymity for those that
mhm.
do not want their business out there like that.
Right, right, right. Yeah, we're definitely trying to bring people into the conversation, in terms of the comment section, talking to us after the show. Hey, this is how we felt about it. Whenever ATAS works for you, we with you across time and space. All right, don't worry
Yeah.
about that. But yeah, let's starting off with our first topic on loss.
Mm,
Um, we have experienced. I think most people over the course of the last 2 years, either someone who maybe has passed away. That person could be a family member. That person could be a friend. Um, and it's either you know that person, or you've thought about someone else who has passed away, maybe during the whole coronavirus thing. All right. Um, this fear, living with the fear that breathing on another person could cause them to, you know,
mercy.
to get a virus that's going to wipe them out within a very short period of time.
Mm,
That that does something to us, and then the possibility of losing someone, the actual losing of someone, and think about how to uh, finish, or speak of their legacy, and
mm.
bring closure to that, is very different because of the pandemic.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I mean, if you ignore it, then you could be putting someone else in danger. If you, I mean, you try to ignore it, but I don't think really you can. I don't think there's anyone on this planet that can ignore the coronavirus thing.
No,
And
no. It's been too ingrained in our culture now.
mhm,
The first few months of the outbreaks, it was like, oh yes, we're getting used to the new normal, and
mhm,
it really is to that sense, because 2 years later,
mhm,
we're still here, we're still masking up, we're still reminding people to wash their hands. DoorDash is still bustling and dropping uh, food outside of people's doors.
mhm.
Contactless delivery, contactless pickup. There's all these different things that have changed because of this virus.
Right. So the thing is, although the stages that are the way that we deal with loss, um, the environment has caused us to have to deal with that in different ways. Um,
Mhm.
Going through different phases of loss itself probably hasn't changed. right?
mm,
Just a few months ago, gosh, it was October 11th that I had a loss in my family, and I didn't know where I was on that kind of roller coaster of loss. Um, I learned about it back in high school, the different phases of loss, and I know denial is part of it, right? But
mhm,
you know, going through different parts of that. So basically, with loss, they say that there are 5 stages, and maybe there are more, maybe there are less. But if you think about it in terms of the five, then it's kind of easier to put a name to what you're experiencing. So first off, let me just mention the 5 stages. They're, DABDA. It's kind of an easy acronym. It's my
having
third acronym of the day. Um, so DABDA is denial, and
mhm,
then anger
anger,
and bargaining,
bargaining, okay,
depression, and
depression and
acceptance.
acceptance.
Right. Right. So, I when I experienced loss, I tried to jump straight to acceptance, you
Mhm,
know, when in fact inside, I may be in this, depression state or denial state.
mm,
I may say outwardly, well, I just accept that they're in a higher place, you know, and that's it. Um, I'm celebrating their
their life
departure,
and legacy.
yeah, life and legacy, and the
Mhm,
fact that they're not in any pain anymore, just kind of run straight to that thing. Where in other cultures sometimes, I know in the I want to say Fiji, but if I'm saying the wrong country, I'm
mhm,
sorry. But in Fiji, they have wailers. These are people who will cry for you, and they'll cry really hard and out loud,
mhm,
at someone's funeral, because sometimes it's hard for people to let it out. I don't want to be the one that other people are looking at when I'm experiencing my pain. So they have people that will go in and wail, you know, like loud and deep in these, utterances, and that helps to bring it out.
mhm,
Then for other people, it's like when I see someone else crying, I don't, it makes it hard for me to cry.
mm,
That's another issue. So yeah, I mean, I know that acceptance is something that takes time. So it's kind of strange to just say I accept it right away.
mm,
And DABDA isn't. It's not just it's not a one way like arrow. You start off with denial, and at the end of the road, there's acceptance, and you're done. No, there are different phases. You go back and forth. All right,
mhm,
and eventually, I think you arrive at long term acceptance. But um, there's anger sometimes. Anger at God, like why
oh,
God do you let this happen? Anger at the system. Another uh, kind of phase that I've spent some time with is bargaining. Well, if I do this, then maybe I can see that person again. You know,
mm,
in losing a baby, it's just like if I next time, had I not done this, then maybe this wouldn't have happened. So next time I'm not going to do it, and then I'm going to see that person again, or I'm going to have that baby again. It's just like that. That's not really the way it works. You um, if someone's gone, you're not gonna see them again in this life.
yeah,
Okay, and so you really have to cherish the time that you have,
mm,
um, and what you have left over from that person, the contribution that they made to your life, and in terms of your understanding of the way life works, your knowledge, your financial grounding, different things that they've left with you. You want to use that to help you grow and help
mm,
other people grow. Um, with the passing of my aunt, I think about her contribution to my life, and it's such a beautiful thing. Um, I wonder if it's okay to share right there, because I have so many pictures of how she came. Look, my aunt came. All right, we're going to talk about that. We got to talk about that just a little.
We
My
have
aunt,
to. We have to.
my goodness, she came all the way to Japan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not being able to walk, all right, couldn't even walk, could barely she could breathe, but she needed oxygen tanks and all kinds of stuff. But she came all the way out here, you know, to celebrate with me and with my wife. To celebrate, she was going to be my wife at that moment, but um, just selfless love. This is what family does. I'm with you. I love you so much. Like that. What a contribution, you know, even to this day. I mean, to just a few days ago, she was always online, giving the likes, showing the love,
Yeah.
about every single thing that my wife shared, with family and with us, like I like that. I acknowledge you. I see you. What a beautiful person. Um, you know, like looking back for me, and I have memories a long time ago, just being at my aunt's house or at my grandma's house where she lived when I was
Oh
growing
yeah.
up. She was always there, you know, um, eating her food, watching TV together, having cookouts together. Like she was such a powerhouse. And like that built up something inside of me, a place inside of me that I can go to and feel secure, in knowing that family loves me and
Mm.
family is with me. And she represented that, and she ah that is so powerful to me. And it's food, that's that food that makes me who I am. Like you are what you eat, what you consume. And I consumed so much of that beautiful love that my aunt had uh for us on a daily basis, that I'm full, and I'm ready to give. Like um man, it's just awesome. It's really awesome. I can show you right now, the wedding photos and the videos that she took
Yeah.
at our wedding reception. It's just like, and the jokes that she made about my butt, for example. Like I had Amazon. I had an Amazon smile on the back of my tuxedo. Like she had to get on me.
Oh God.
She had to get on me, man. I didn't know. I didn't know. And if it hadn't been for my aunt, man, like I would never know, because I was up there dancing around, and she had the view. All right, she had the
Mm.
low view because she was in the seat, and she was so proud, man. She's so proud. Um, go ahead. I mean, we talking about loss, but we're talking about gain too. What did you gain?
Yeah. Um, Growing up with our aunt, it was sometimes it was hard. I don't know front. Sometimes it was hard. Because I, from a very early age, would spend a lot of my time over there. And I was born in Hartford, Connecticut, shout out to the heartbeat. But I was raised in East Hartford.
Hmm.
So it was what a bus and a transfer away
Hmm.
type thing. So I'd take two buses and I can get to my grandmother's house, which then became my aunt's house. Um, and growing up was a little hard because my god brother, he man, he just sometimes
God,
he would just
God,
get on my
God,
nerves.
Godmother. I didn't know that.
No, god brother, her
Okay,
son.
okay.
Yeah, her son was an issue.
Her son was your god brother.
Yes, because my
Okay.
mother is his godmother.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. All right.
So it's like sometimes dealing with him. would put a hamper on the experience that I had there, or being asked to do stuff, because I was older.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, don't be whooping on my son because you bigger than him, and don't be. It's like, well, tell him stop being so annoying. Like, what's going on? You sit there, you see what's happening. Like, you're not gonna say nothing.
Yeah.
But just the fact that I could always be there. You know,
Mm-hmm.
um, Thanksgiving break, Christmas break, into New Year's,
Mm-hmm.
whole summers I spent over that house, and it was never like, oh well, you can't come this time because of what
Mm-hmm.
you did last time. No,
Mm-hmm.
it was, this is your house as much as it is mine. Period. And she used to get pissed at me because my mom always told me, you
Yeah.
ask, period. I don't
Mm-hmm.
care who house you at. You don't go in nobody's fridge like that. You ask,
Yeah.
period.
Yeah.
So I'll be asking, can I have a cup of water? All that water in there, you don't go get a glass and get you some water out the pipe. Stop bothering me. You know, and it was just a very generous, selfless love.
Mm-hmm.
And I can see that it was definitely passed down from grandma.
Mm-hmm.
And this aunt is the youngest aunt. You
Mm-hmm.
know, um, so I don't want to say that she had the most time with grandma, but she was the one that was living in the same house up until she passed.
Mm-hmm.
She was there 24/7. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can just see that I don't know what else to call it, like a transfer of power, just becoming that new matriarch of that household. It was just, this is how it's going to be because this is how it's always been, and this is what's been working. We're not going to be selfish. We're going
Mm-hmm.
to open the house to all manner of parties. My daughter had a first birthday there.
What?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It
What?
was a tradition that every grandchild
Mm.
had their first birthday in that household. And my daughter, we were
I,
living in Worcester, Mass.
yeah.
And my daughter had a first birthday celebration there
Mm.
and one at my father's house.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I mean, she
Wow.
got double dipped, spoiled, everything.
Yeah.
It's like
That,
those moments are. It's just, that's what's gonna stay with me. Those moments where I I couldn't replace them, and I couldn't make them if I wanted to. You
mm.
know.
Wow. I did that means yeah, every grandchild had their first birthday on Garden Street.
That was supposed to be what happened. I mean,
I mean,
I'm
I don't
only
remember
so
either.
old, so I don't
Yeah.
remember your first birthday.
Did you don't remember your own first birthday either?
No, no, but I have the pictures, and of course, your mother has
Oh.
the pictures. Yes,
Oh.
I was there. I had a blue shirt on, a
Mm.
gold birthday crown, and I'm digging in the cake. Cake all over. Yeah, first birthday, right there. And I think that was still when the couches
Yeah.
in the front room, not the
We're
front room.
calico. We're calico.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was like
Yeah.
the calico plaid. I was like, what in the
Yeah,
what?
calico plaid. Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a couch for the times, huh? You don't see that color anymore.
No, heck no. Please don't see that color anymore.
Yeah.
No, no, that thing needed to go the way of the buffalo because
Yeah.
plaid
Wait,
couches nowadays. Mm-mm.
wait. So it was plaid couches in the foot room.
In the front room, but the front room.
Is that what it was it called front? Because I got foot.
Yo, that was no, that was.
It was a foot room. I didn't hear no
Oh
front.
God!
All
When they
right.
would say it fast, you better get out that front room.
Yeah. Get out the foot room. Yeah. I ain't never hear front. Oh boy.
Oh
Now the
man.
couches in the foot room are like wine red or maroon or
They were cranberry. I would say
cranberry, deep
cranberry.
deep
Deep
cran.
cranberry.
Yeah,
Not
yeah,
no
yeah.
watered down. No, this
Mhm.
is straight.
Yep. And the thing is, when we were coming up, you couldn't go to the foot room if you were like little kids can't go in there playing around.
Mm.
There were there was a table with all these little bells on it. And I didn't realize that grandma was collecting those
Oh.
bells, and yeah, you can't just knock those over or anything like that, right? Um,
Did
yeah.
you break one?
Oh no, no, no! I never broke a bell.
Oh, I broke
Never
one.
broke a bell. Hold on.
by
Most
by
deaf.
accident. It was not like on purpose, like, oh, let me smash this against the wall. It was like I picked it up, I rang it a little bit, and then
Yeah.
I was like,
Now,
woo.
okay. I got a question for the comments section because I see you guys. I see we out here. We out here.
We out here.
Did anybody in the comment section break any of those bells in the front room? And if you did, what did your aunt do? All right.
Oh no.
Uh, yeah, yeah, yeah. You gotta be careful.
No. Please don't let me be the only one to have done it. Like, come on. Come on.
How did you
Save me,
break it?
chat. Save me.
Hold on. How
Like I
did you
said,
break
I
it?
just sort of ring, 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 ring.
You actually rang one?
Yeah, I would go in
There's
there
a
and ring them.
reason. There was
For
a
real, for real.
reason you was in trouble. You should have
It
been
was it
asking
wasn't
about
the
that. Yeah.
it wasn't the first one, it wasn't the only one. It was,
Mm.
I like the sound of them.
Ah.
Bells are meant to be rung, right?
Wow, wow. Yeah. I mean, right, it's a bell, right? How you gonna keep the bell silent?
Yeah, I mean,
That's wild. That's wild. Yeah. So folks in the comments section, some are living down in Atlanta. Other folks are living out in California. We out here. We out here.
yeah.
I'm living in Japan. But we talking about bells in the foot room on Garden Street in Hartford,
Oh
Connecticut. All
god,
right. Um,
don't be saying that
that's
too much, and people gonna start looking for it.
I know they're gonna
Where the
start looking
house
for.
at? Where the house at?
Oh,
With the
I mean,
front room?
they ain't gonna know where it is on Garden Street. All right.
They better not.
Yeah, that's wild. That's wild. But so we talking about the gain, what we gained from the love that was so generously shared to us from our
Poured
aunt.
out upon us.
I'm not going to be there with you in person, but I'll definitely be there with you in spirit and in the celebration of her life,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be there with you on the road going forward. Okay, like I'm with you, family. 100%, 100%, and um, and thank you for your acknowledgement and for your support, because I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for every single one of y'all. Okay. Um, and that being said, is there anything else that you want to touch on loss and gain?
Awesome game.
Yeah.
Maybe a I don't want to say indestructible, but
Mm,
just a not domineering, but just like a kind of an ever burning spirit. Like
mm,
to go through all of the stuff that she went through,
mm,
to be able to go to Japan
mm,
alone.
mm,
That right there, I was talking I was talking to her a little bit before the trip,
mm,
which was what, 2 years ago now, 2, 3 years ago technically.
mm,
Um, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I gotta go to this doctor's appointment. I gotta do this. I gotta get this. I gotta make sure I got that." And I was like, "Just me? I would have been like, I'm gonna just stay.
mm,
Why am I gonna go through all this trouble?" And it's not to belittle like you and your nuptials. I love your wife. She's cool beans,
mm,
but I don't I don't know if I would have been able to do that, if I would
mm,
have been able to pick up so much of my life, so much of my my ailments and the medications and this and that and the other, to be able to say I'm gonna be there.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Nothing was stopping her. That's it. Nothing was stopping her.
it was so big, like, for her to be here. There was one part where, and I'd say it was maybe the hardest part of the journey, where we split up, right? And you guys went on to Skytree with my wife. And when I say you guys, they're 14. Let's see. I got the picture right in front of me.
You
Went on
got
to
a picture right
Skytree.
there.
I got the
Oh
picture
God.
right there, right?
Oh God.
And you smiling on the left. You standing next to my dad. In front of my dad, I got my wife right there. We got
Mm.
Manny over there. And on the front row, uncle, aunt, daughter, and my little sister. And
Dang.
it's crazy how that evening panned out, because as you guys were going on to Skytree, I'm walking with my best man, my mother, and her friend, and then our aunt. And like there wasn't there was the reason why we couldn't go on to Skytree with you is because there wasn't a staircase. No, there was only a staircase. There wasn't
Only
a
staircase.
ramp
No
at this
ramp to get up
specific
the.
spot,
Yeah.
right? And because there's no ramp and there's no elevator to get to the train, we had to go a good half a kilometer, right? We had to go a good half a kilometer, like walking. And she can't walk.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
she didn't have a wheelchair. So we're sliding through an area that looks like Times Square. All right. This is Akasaka or Shimbashi. It's Shimbashi.
Oh, okay.
And yes, we got to walk. All right. You can't even catch a taxi from where we are. You got to walk, and sliding along. And she didn't even like say, all right, I'm tired, or we got to stop, or anything like that, But I know, look, my aunt is 90 degrees. All right. She's 9 degrees forward. That there's a lot of weight on her body. There's difficulty in her breathing. Let's address that. This is not an easy task.
Yeah.
She really felt at that point like, oh my goodness, what am I doing all the way out here? But she allowed, God to touch our hearts through her action, right? Through her actions and her selfless giving right there.
Yeah.
Like without my aunt in our midst, it may have just been a tour of Japan. And I've said this time and time again, but this was a family affair. This is not just me parading you guys around Japan. This is me walking with my flesh and blood, and her just giving into our lives and making it real. All right. This is not something that we could have experienced by any other method but selfless giving.
Yeah.
And I'm with you. I am with you, family. No. I don't care what it is. We're going to make sure you enjoy this journey as much as we can. All right. And like, I always feel like I didn't do enough. And that night, it was hard because we went a whole half kilometer just to get to this one elevator, go downstairs. And then when I get inside the station building, or this tunnel, I run all the way back to the station, half a kilometer, get to the guy, and he says, "Oh, well, I can't give you a wheelchair." For what? What do you mean you can't give me a wheelchair? Like, and I was just like, I was freaking out. Like, the tears were in my eyes, like they were here, but I couldn't let them go. Because like it felt like that would be defeat, like to allow the emotions just overcome me, because there was anger right there. Like, you have any idea what my aunt went through to get all the way here, and you telling me you can't even give me a wheelchair for someone who needs a wheelchair? I was livid. I was livid for her sake. And I don't think I've been so upset for someone else's sake in my life.
mm,
Yeah. Yeah. That really hit me hard. Um, but I needed to keep composure because she kept composure.
mhm.
Like how is the person who's going through the hardest part of it, if they're not breaking down, then how am I allowed to break down?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
not gonna work. That's not gonna work.
That,
Yeah. I mean, flawless, as one of the people in our comment section said. She did it flawlessly, to show how much
flaw.
how much it
Mm,
mattered to her to make you happy. Whew. Yeah, yeah.
wow,
You know,
wow.
um,
Hmm.
I need to say something about humanity, and
All right.
about our species because I promised it. Um,
Mhm,
and we're going to continue on this journey going forward. But with the book Homo Sapiens, and it's uh, the following book, Homo Deus. The author talks about an interconnected subjective reality,
mm,
interconnected subjective reality, where there are things that bind us together and things that we put meaning on, things that we've created as a species that no other creature has done. Even though the
mm,
author would say that we're no different from any other animal, they would say that, and the author does say that that we're just another creature a couple million years ago, you
mm.
know, um, but we have this thing where we create ideas, and these ideas, such as, for example, money. Money
Yeah,
has no intrinsic value, but we give it value,
yeah,
and that value does cause people to do things and contribute different actions, and those actions do have a real effect on our lives. Um, I'd say that another concept that we've kind of, I don't know if we've created it ourselves, but we've definitely found it and built upon it, is this idea of, family and love.
mm,
And we shape that, um, you know, through our endowment of love early in life.
correct.
If our parents, you know, invest a lot of love into us, and our family invests a lot of love into us, then even though it's not a tangible thing that you can pick up and say, this is love right here, it definitely has an effect. Um, for God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. It's something that we read, and when we do, we, you know, if you're a believer, then you feel that there's a higher power, and you can feel it. You can feel it just
Mm,
like you can feel money in your wallet,
mhm,
like the same way you feel like a millionaire, and the way that makes you make decisions, right? As a millionaire, you feel like $1 million. It's because of your belief that you feel like $1 million, and the things that you do because of that really do have an effect. It's no joke,
mm,
right? And we believe that God loved us so much that he gave his only begotten son. This is, it, in a way, it's a story that has so much influence on our actions. It makes it so that within the community, maybe the Christian community, you feel that someone you don't even know is your brother.
yeah.
Your neighbor. You're thinking about your neighbor, and loving your neighbor as yourself. This you look at any other animal, they don't do that. You know,
Mm,
um, it's people on the other side of the planet that you feel this connection with. My brother Paul, from the Philippines, who went on and did missionary work in Afghanistan, is doing all this thing because he feels this love, this intangible thing that is quite a real part of our experience as human beings. And the book goes into a lot of those issues. Um, if you have any thoughts on our introduction to Sapiens, now is the time.
Introduction. I mean, it was long.
Mhm.
There was just so much that was going on in that first chapter.
Mhm.
It was a lot of like a lot of numbers, a lot of facts, like
Mhm.
or what's to be taken as fact, because nobody was there. Like, okay, well, this, and this. Okay, well, I'm gonna write this all down.
Mhm.
Um, Not to say that these different types of human beings didn't exist, but it's only after the fact that we're able to look at the remains and say, okay, well, this person is different from this person, and it looked like there was more of these types of people found in this area, so maybe they migrated from here to there.
Mhm.
um, One thing I did find very interesting, and I was just watching. Now don't call me old, or don't call me too young, but I was just watching a TikTok today,
Mhm.
uh, with Bill Nye, right?
The
And he was
science
talking
guy.
about, yes,
The
Bill Nye, the
science
science
guy.
guy.
Bill Nye, the science guy. Bill, Bill,
Bill,
Bill.
Bill, Bill.
Bill Nye, the science guy. Okay. Now, go ahead. You know, that's what you got to say. It makes me older. Go ahead.
So, the thing that he was going over is the amount of ultraviolet light that is received by the planet per longitude, right?
Okay.
Per latitude. So this way, horizontal latitude.
Yeah.
Longitude is the long way. Yeah, latitude. So you see it, it's like these really deeper, darker colors towards
Mm,
the equator because it gets more light. And
mm,
then as you branch out from, the colors get lighter,
mm.
reflecting that they get less light.
Wait,
So then
the
he
colors,
takes
the colors of what? The colors of what?
the color, it's just like different colors, like purples, reds, blah, 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 blah. So
On
just
planets.
representing, no, just representing how much
Mm.
sunlight the planet gets, right?
Oh,
So
okay.
he
The planet
takes,
itself. Mm,
yes, he takes this away, and then there's the same map, but it's like basically skin tones.
mm-hmm.
So you see that towards the equator, it's darker, and
Mm,
then branching out, it's lighter.
mm-hmm.
And what he said, Sapiens also says about an origin in Africa.
Mm, mm,
And that same origin is what the Bible speaks of. And the
mm,
reason we know like about where it happened is
mm,
because the Tigris and Euphrates rivers are mentioned in the book of Genesis. So it's just like
mm.
all of this stuff is just like boom, 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 all coming back. I'm just like, wow. So I can tell right now there's gonna be a few things that I disagree with, but
Mm,
I'm kind of I don't believe that there's a distinction between science and my God, because I
mm,
feel like science, whether it be biology, psychology,
mm.
it's just figuring out what God has done. You know,
Figuring out what God has done.
yeah.
That's a great
So it's
way to
like
that's a great way to
biology
approach it.
about it. We was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, well, God already made all of our atoms, all of our cells, everything that
Mm.
makes us up, and we're just
How
trying
did
to catch up.
so
We was
how did he
okay.
do it?
Well, what did He make? Let's peel it away, peel
Mm,
back the layers. But to me, I like science, and
mm,
I love God. So to me, it's like I don't feel that there could be all of this design and it not be
mm.
intentional.
Mm.
you know, and
So yes.
that's how I'm reading the book, through
Mm,
that lens. And of course, I see the things that I don't agree with, but I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm not going to read this because
mm,
no, I'm going to say, okay, well, now I have a deeper understanding of my brothers who don't know their father.
mm,
You know, now I can minister to them in a way that a preacher
mm.
who is just looking at the Bible cannot.
Yeah, yeah. I like that perspective, and I'm going to do my best to stimulate that conversation,
And
um,
wrap it up at the same time.
and wrap it up at the same time because it is wrap up time. And I did promise you guys it was going to be 45 minutes of that hotness that we call ATAS, across
That's
time and space. I see, man, people are ready to get on. They're ready to get on and get into the conversation. I can hear you, but
Mhm.
I can't have you join just yet. All right, as guests, when we have some guests on the show, and I'd ask that you read the chapter or listen to the chapter first, so that you get that
Mhm.
background, that context. But we're gonna have you on, all right, and we're gonna
Oh
have.
yeah,
Oh, it's gonna be a beautiful year. And thank you so much for joining us. Those who are listening afterwards, please leave your comments in the comments section. Give it a like,
right
share with a
down
friend.
there somewhere.
Yeah, it's down there. No, just yeah, I'm pointing around. Um, but this is Atas across time and space. It's your boy Tipsy Japan, telling you go ahead, get yourself paper, and subscribe.
Hmm.
It's been a beautiful ride, and it's only going to get more interesting. That's what it is. Ace.
It's been Ace of Cross Culture here with Atas. You already know we're doing big things this year. Just like my co-host said, it's not gonna stop because we're about growth this year, right?
Hmm.
About growth, growing the channel, growing influence, and just getting everything out there, on the table. So until next time, stay prayed up and be blessed.